Welcome back. Today we learn through a story. Listen carefully and enjoy the journey. Long ago there was no money. People lived simple lives. They worked with their hands. Some people grew food. Some people made clothes. Some people built tools. When people needed something, they did not use money. They used trade. This trade was called barter. Barter means exchange. You give something, you get something. If I had apples and you had bread, we could trade. I gave you apples. You gave me bread. Both people were happy. In small villages, barter worked well. People knew each other, but life did not stay small. Villages became towns. Towns became cities. People met strangers. They traveled far. Trade became bigger. Now barter had problems, serious problems. What if I had apples, but you did not want apples? What if you wanted shoes, and I had only fruit? Trade could not happen. Both people were unhappy. This problem had a name. It was called double coincidence of wants. Both people had to want the same thing at the same time. There was another problem. Value was not clear. How many apples equal one cow? How many fish equal one shirt? People argued. Trade took too long. Some goods were heavy. Some goods went bad fast. Food could rot. Barter was slow. Barter was difficult. People needed a better way, a faster way, an easier way. So people chose special objects. Objects everyone accepted. In some places people used shells. In other places people used salt. Some used stones. Some used metal pieces. These objects became early money. Why did this work? Because people agreed. They agreed these objects had value. Now trade was simple. You did not need apples, you could take shells. Later, you could use shells to buy what you wanted. Money solved many problems. It saved time. It reduced fights. It made trade fair. Money did not begin as paper. Money began as an idea of trust, an idea of value, an idea of agreement. This is how the story of money began. As trade continued to grow, people started to think deeper. They saw that simple objects made trade easier. But not every object could work. It had to be accepted by everyone. So people slowly chose special objects. These objects were small. They were easy to carry. They were not common. In many places, people used shells. Shells were light. Shells were beautiful. Shells were hard to find. Because shells were rare, people trusted them. In some regions, people used salt. Salt was valuable. People needed salt every day. Salt could be stored. Salt could be shared. Because salt was useful, it became money. In other areas, people used stones, not normal stones, special stones, smooth stones, shiny stones, rare stones. Later, people discovered metal. Metal was strong. Metal lasted long. Metal did not break easily. Metal did not spoil. People shaped metal into small pieces. These pieces were easy to count, easy to store, easy to trade. Slowly, metal became trusted money. This worked for one reason. People agreed. They agreed these objects had value. Money was not powerful by itself. Trust made it powerful. Now people could trade freely. They could sell today and buy later. They did not need the other person to want the same thing. Money removed the old problem of barter. Trade became faster. Trade became smoother. Markets became larger. Travel became easier. Money connected people, even strangers. Life was changing, and money was becoming more important. Soon, money would attract power. That is where the story goes next. As money became more important, people started to protect it. They wanted money to last longer. They wanted money to look the same. Shells could break. Salt could disappear. Stones were not always equal. So people turned to metal. Metal was strong. Metal was durable. Metal could be shaped. Soon gold and silver became very popular. Gold was rare. Gold was beautiful. Gold did not rust. Silver was also valuable. Silver was easier to find. More people could use it. People began to make coins. Coins were small. Coins were round. Coins were easy to carry. Each coin had the same weight, the same size. This made trade fair. But there was a new problem. How could people trust the coins? How could they know the metal was real? This is where rulers appeared. Kings and leaders started to control money. They stamped coins with symbols. These symbols showed power. They showed authority. A coin with a king's mark meant trust. People believed the king. People trusted the mark. Now money had a face. Money was no longer just metal. Money was power. Governments controlled coins. They decided value. They decided rules. With coins, trade grew even more. Markets expanded. Cities became richer. Merchants traveled far, across lands, across seas. Coins made long journeys possible. But power always brings problems. Some rulers cheated. They mixed gold with cheap metal. They made coins weaker. People slowly noticed. Trust began to break. This showed something important. Money depends on trust. When trust is strong, money works. When trust breaks, money fails. Still, coins changed the world. They connected countries. They connected cultures. Money was shaping society. But carrying large amounts of coins was heavy. It was not safe. People started asking new questions. Is there an easier way? Is there a lighter way? The answer would change money again. Coins changed trade. But they also created new problems. Coins were heavy. Coins were noisy. Coins were hard to carry in large amounts. Merchants traveled far, across deserts, across mountains, across seas. Carrying bags of coins was dangerous. Thieves waited. Roads were unsafe. People needed a safer way, a lighter way. So a new idea appeared. Instead of carrying coins, people stored them. They stored coins in safe places. These places later became banks. Banks gave papers. These papers were promises. The paper said, "Your gold is safe here." This paper could be exchanged. You could give the paper instead of the coin. At first, people were afraid. Paper looked weak. Paper had no metal. How could paper have value? But trust grew slowly. People trusted the banks. People trusted the promise. Soon, paper money became normal. Paper was light. Paper was easy to carry. Trade became faster. People could move freely. Without heavy bags. Governments noticed this. They saw the power of paper money. Governments began to print money. They added seals. They added signatures. These marks showed authority. Paper money was no longer just a bank promise. It became national money. Now money depended even more on trust. Trust in banks, trust in governments. As long as people believed, money worked. But there was danger. If too much paper was printed, value could fall. More money did not mean more wealth. People slowly learned this lesson. Paper money made life easier, but it also made money fragile. If trust broke, money lost power. Still, paper money changed the world. Paper money changed the world. But change did not stop there. Technology began to grow. Machines became faster. Life became digital. Money also began to change. People did not want to carry cash. Paper could be lost. Paper could be stolen. So banks created new systems. People opened bank accounts. Money was stored as numbers, not as coins, not as paper. This was modern money. With a card, people could pay. No cash was needed. No coins were counted. Credit cards appeared. Debit cards followed. Shopping became easier. Travel became simpler. Later, the internet changed everything. People could send money online. From one city to another city, from one country to another country. Money moved in seconds. Banks became digital. Phones became wallets. People paid bills online. People bought things online. Money became invisible. But still, money was real. It was numbers on a screen. Trust was still important. People trusted banks. People trusted systems. Then another idea appeared. Digital currencies. Some were controlled by banks, some were not. People began to talk about cryptocurrency. This money had no paper, it had no coins. It lived on computers. Some people trusted it, some people feared it. The debate began. What is real money? Is money metal? Is money paper? Or is money trust? History gave an answer. Money was never just a thing. Money was always an idea people believed in, from barter to shells, from coins to paper, from paper to digital numbers. Money kept changing, but one thing stayed the same: trust. When people trust money, it works. When trust breaks, money fails. Today, you use money every day. You tap a phone, you swipe a card, but behind every payment, there is a long story. A story of people, a story of trade, a story of trust. Understanding money helps us understand the world. And this story is still continuing. Because money will keep changing, just like life. This is the history of money. And now, you know how it began, and how it keeps moving forward. It helped countries grow. It helped trade expand. Banks became important. Governments became powerful. Money was no longer metal. Money was belief. But the story did not end here. Another change was coming. Money was about to become invisible.